we live? Yes, we are. 1 second. Oh, there we go. So I'll be continuing off with what I did last week. I was unable to stream for a week because I was really busy with work, but now I'll have a week off. So hopefully I can get some more code done. Now, just to show where we left off, I'm actually trying to remember myself what exactly we've done. So we can generate a level, we can, I guess, select blocks, change their type, like so. Yep. So what we need to do now is add a camera movement to our camera, fix some bugs, add the remaining functions, and that'll be the level creator done. So what I'll do is I'll first create the camera script. So in the map editor, we'll just create a new script called camera controller, like so. And I'll just clear up these fields here that are here by default, and I'll create two values. I'll just create a pan speed, and that's just how fast we move. So the speed of moving the camera. And we'll add a public vector for our boundaries. So that's going to be the pan limit. So that's how much we can move from left to right. We're just going to leave it as public because this class will be only during the level editor. We'll never actually build this into the full version of the game. So the limits of the map terrain. Although we could just, for the sake of it, I guess, just do this like so. And then all we need is a update function. Now, here we'll first take a vector3, which is going to be our position of the camera. So that's going to do position, and it will just reference camera domain transform the position, like so. We can just directly get the main camera because this scene only has one camera, and at no point ever we will have a second camera for the editor. And then here, I'll make the movement using 4 separate inputs. We could use the edge of camera, but I think WASD is good enough for this. So we'll just grab vertical, and we'll make it higher than. I am missing one set of brackets. No, I'm not. Now I'll copy this 2 more times. Here I'll change to horizontal. And I'll just change this symbol here. And now with the code, we'll just type in the position Z, because that's the position we're going to move on. And we'll do plus equals pan speed, which is how fast we move, times time dot delta time. And I'll just copy this 4 times, and I'll just have to change one thing. So for these, we'll just add a minus. And for the other axes, we'll actually change to X. Like so. Let's close Steam while I'm at it, just so it doesn't get in the way. And Discord. There we go. What do we do now? Oh yeah. Now, next part is very simple. Now that we have this done, all we have to do is just do pos x is equal to mathf.clamp to clamp between our position x and like so. So this is how we make it so we don't go over the boundaries. We'll do the exact same for the Z. However, of course, we'll just change these, and this will actually be Y. Now, the reason why it's Z here and it's Y here is because our screen is not three-dimensional like the movement of our camera. It's actually two-dimensional. So we only have the X, which is for our left to right side of the screen, and we have our Y, which is our up and down. Whereas if we look at the camera has the X, which is again the left and right. We will have the Y and the Z. So in this case, the Z will be, if we just, so there we go. This is the X, this is the Y, and then this will be the Z. And of course, we move our camera at the X and Z. We don't move it closer to the target under any circumstances, like so. That's why it's like this. And then finally, to get our camera to move, we just do camera.main.transform.position, and it's going to be our pos, which is the value we declared for our vector3 of the camera. Now, with this, all of that is done. But before I do that, I'll just add a little camera reset function, which was just going to be a get key down. And that's going to be key code space, which is a space bar. You can change this to anything that you really want. And then we'll just set everything to 0. Like so. This will just snap the camera back into the position, just in case we ever lose the camera. So 0, 0 is currently this point. So if we press play and we generate a level, it's right in the corner of where we first. We can change that later, so it's dead on in the middle, and we can also make it so it's in the middle of based on our map height and width, because all we have to do is just divide it by 2. But for now, there's no point. Maybe if this was available to external users, it would make sense to create such things to prevent users from doing something we didn't intend for them. But since currently this is only used for the developer, it's just a waste of time to do it. There we go. And now we can move. Maybe that speed is slightly off. In fact, it's not working properly. Let's go back into the code. What did we do here? So actually, let's just increase the pan speed. So we have vertical. Dynamic. Okay, well, either way. Let's have a look. Oh, oh, I see. So that's way too fast now. Oh, wow. There you go. That's the problem here. I didn't add the minus. I just made it equal to. And that is meant to be 4, not 42. No wonder it was going so fast. Now it should be fine. So let's just generate the block. And there we go. We have a more smoother. We do have limits, although they're quite high. They're sufficient for this. Now, can we regenerate blocks? Yes, so it does regenerate the map. Does it delete the old one? Yes, it does. Okay, so what else? Let's have a look at my list of what I wanted to do. Oh yeah, there are some buttons that didn't work last time. So if we look at the, okay, let's close this code as we don't need it anymore. So for saving, one thing that I think I need to add, I'm not exactly sure, is d dot set, and that's gonna be our selected level. Now, the reason why I'm gonna do this is because sometimes the saving into scriptables doesn't work properly. I don't know if it's gonna happen now, but if it's better off having it than not having it. Also, let's get rid of this real quick by just yeah. And then I'm just gonna declare it as a 0, 0, like so, to get rid of the warning sign. Yeah. So that wasn't it. Oh yeah, and then secondly, the drop down didn't work as part of the last part. Let's say actually, does the height set itself in or not? Then this is what happens when you do something and you come back to it a while later. No, so okay, so the height and the width is not preset by our values, and the drop down doesn't change the level we're currently using. So I'll do that. So we have save level. So if we go into save level, which is somewhere in the editor, save, no, what do we have? Game editor, oh, it's that one. Save level, like so. Wait, what? Why is, oh, that's right. It was meant to do, that was meant to be, why is it? Should be set level. There we go. That makes more sense. So what set level will actually do is it will just set the current ID to the dropdown. For that, we need to have the reference to the dropdown. So I'll just quickly do. I'll create a serializer field, and it's going to be private dropdown, and then it's going to be level dropdown, like so. And then what we will essentially just do in here is just do dropdown. Well, level dropdown dot value, like so. And that's going to be our currently selected level, which corresponds to our array. Let's have a look. Of course. Now let's attach the dropdown into our map editor. There we go, like so. And now this should change our current active level before we generate it. Of course, we also have a save function, so let's test out saving and then generating. So every time we generate, we want to generate off the level if it's not empty. So let's set that up real quick. So generate level is map editor generator.generate map. So we run this piece of code. So what we actually want to do first is we want to check if our currently active level is not null before we generate that level. So what we kind of have to do is we have to set our level at the very start of the load. So what we're going to do is we're going to set our level like so, and this will set it by default to 0 or whatever we leave it as in the inspector. And Now that we have this, we will need to be able to access this information in some way. So I'll just make a public stat. Actually, let's just make a direct reference in the awake method of here by doing private in-game editor like so, and we'll do game edit. Actually, they should be on the exact same game object, right? Yep. Is equal to this dot game object dot game component, and we'll look for game editor. With this, now we have our game editor connected to our awake function. And now we have to use the height and the width of the level because we currently have no way of assigning them. So we will just change that a little bit. So what we'll do here is we will on value changed set. Actually, rather than having this on value changed, so what we need is a button which will confirm the change of the map width and the map height, but we can only do this while the level is not currently generated. So what I'll do is I'll add a button. Just gonna, and for this button we'll write down confirm map size like so. We can actually slightly increase this panel and give this text a little look. Can I make it a little more? Okay, either way, that's good enough for this. So this will let us confirm the map size. And what that will do is it'll take the two input fields, store them, and then if our map is not currently generated, it will let us change the value. So yeah, so let's go back here to the map editor. Let's close these guys because we don't need them for now. So we'll add a boolean here called isGenerated. Checks whenever the level is generated. And then we will only, so what we'll do is if isGenerated is equal to true, so if the level is already generated, we will delete the level first before we generate a new level. And then, of course, we will want to run this little set of code, but we will also want to do some separate things. So I'm just going to separate this for now, and I'll do private void. Oh, go away. Void create map like so, and I'll just paste this inside. So what's going to happen is, if generated is true, we're going to delete the level. But if it's false, then we'll do isGenerated is equal to true, and I will create a map. We'll also create a map in here, like so. I don't know if what I'm doing is actually pointless. Yeah, so now we need reference to our text fields and the button. So what I'll probably have to have is a temporary height and temporary width value. Or no, I can just have a reference to the input field. So I'll just add a new two serializable fields, and that's going to be private. Is it called input field? Yep, and that's going to be the width field, and I'll have the height field as well. And what I'll essentially do is get their value. So what will happen is when we press the submit button, which is going to be public void submit size, we'll just get these guys into height and width, like so. Where is it? Width is equal to field dot value. Can I just get the value? What can I do with it? Is that an input field? It should be an input field. Input field, yep. Oh, because it would be. What is exactly being changed when I type something? I actually haven't used this in a while. Actually, I don't think I've used texts for stuff like that at all. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Is that game object? And you go away for now so you don't give us any errors. Let's try this now. So, what can I? Hello? Okay, great. Now, this is weird. It's not letting me type. Okay. So, click, and no typing is happening. Which is quite strange. Let's just create an empty and drag it to the canvas and see why it's. Well, I know why. Because the text is not best fit. So we can't actually see the text. There you go. So now we can see the text being typed. Okay. So what will happen is when we click this button, let's actually already drag in the reference to the bottom. Map editor, and then we'll do submit values. Submit. Submit size, and then in the editor we'll just drag in the input fields. And then width. Where are we? There he goes. Okay. Okay, so what actually happens when I type? This is like relearning new things. Okay, so dot text. Can I access that component? Field dot text. Oh, I can. Okay, so what I can do is essentially get this text. Of course, now the problem is that I'm trying to set a string into int, but there should be a way to cast this string into an integer. 100%. The real question is how it was done. Wait, is there a way to just make it character limit? Let's make it as a 2, because that will only let the map be so big. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Oh, I can actually make things integral number. I can only make them numbers, which will save my problem. That's interesting. So what happens if... Oh, it doesn't let me, so I can only put numbers in, which is great. But that still doesn't change the fact that it's a text at the end of the day. How would you convert? Actually, let's first see if we're actually... Let's debug this debug.log. width field dot text and see if this is actually doing what I think it's doing. Come on. Okay. 2, 2, 1. Okay. So yeah. So all we want to do is width is equal to, now what was it? So I can't parse it like this. That doesn't work. What if I try wait. What if I try this? Will this work? And then yeah, of course it's gonna give this now. Let's set both of these guys like so to null. And give this one a try. Let's put 5, 6, and 5. Okay, so it works. So we just need to do, it can be simplified. But when it autos into, okay, never mind. Now we're just gonna do the same for the height, like so. And with this, we can now make the, so what this does is it submits changes to the size, but we kind of only want to do it if our level is currently not generated. So if is generated is equal to false, then we kind of want to do the following. Because if we change it in the middle, when we will want to save, it will give us errors. So what I mean by that is, first so let's just say we generate a map with 10 by 10, and then we change that 10 to a 15 and then press save. Well, that will then change that to that 15, but we've modeled our map for a 10 by 10. So it's going to look weird when it's actually going to generate through. Okay, so what we have here is if it's generated to true, we first delete the map. I guess we set is generated to false. We then run submit size automatically, like so. Yeah, so we either first set the size and then create the level, which will, without a problem, run this code. But if we already have a level generated and we want to recreate a level, so we first have to delete it. We then set this to false. We then submit our size, and then we create the map, like so. Now, if it's generated to false, then it just creates the map. But what we actually want to do is select this at the end of every single map that's been created. So it's a confirmation of creating the map rather than anything else. So creates a simple map by iterating through. And now what we want to do is we want to add another thing to it, because what if we already have a level and we just want to modify an existing level? So what we have to do is first see if our level is empty. So if we go into our levels, which is in scriptable objects, so as we see, this level is no longer empty, but the following levels are. So what we're going to do is we will add another here in boolean, and this boolean will check if is empty. So is the level empty? If the level is empty, well, then we have to do something about it. If it's not, then, well, if it's empty, we generate a new map. And if it's not, we just reload the old map instead with all of the old values. And we automatically preset everything to be like that map. So what will actually happen is we'll, of course, awake. Well, where are we? Awake, we'll say is generated to false, of course, because we started the program. There is nothing to be generated yet. And then we will run a method that will check if our game editor, well, if the map is empty or not. So what we'll do first is we will actually, no, we only want to run it if we generate the map from that specific level. So what's going to happen is in generate map, before we run any of this code, so this we will need to make something else. So we'll get a reference to our game editor, and what we'll do is we'll do game editor dot. So if game editor dot, what do we have here? And we'll have to get two things. We'll have to get the we essentially have to get the level and the currently selected level. So we will only get a get because we never want to set it. So we're just gonna do this, and we'll do the same for the levels, like so, just to get these values really easily. So what we'll do is game editor.levels, and then we'll do game editor.select currently selected level, and then dot, and we want to grab the list which is there, which should be called something. What's the list called? That blocks IDs. Okay, dot blocks IDs is higher than 0. Well, if it's higher than 0, don't count. So if it's higher than 0, then, well, at this point we know that it's not empty. So is empty is going to be set to false, because right now it's not. And then else is empty is going to be true. So now that we know if it's true or false, we can then incorporate it to the rest of the code. Well, actually, what if we want to have a new level? So I'll need an, okay. So generating a level will load from, so we'll just encapsulate all of this code here, and we'll do if is empty is equal to false, then we can proceed to run all of this code, because that's all good. However, so, whoa. So if the level is not empty, what we want to do is we just want to load the level based on the map that we already have. So what we'll do is we'll get the, so we'll actually recreate this, or to be more precise, we can modify this so it runs. Can we modify it? Let's have a quick think. Okay, so first we're gonna set our width and height to what it should be like. So we're gonna do width is equal to dot width, and then we're going to do the same thing for the height. We will also need to update the input fields. And of course, you can't change an integer to a string. I think it should just let me do this though. No. I can just do this to string at the end, right? Yeah. So this automatically updates the texts, and the height will do the exact same thing here. Now that we've updated both of these, we can now think about running the generation from here, and so everything should be the same. However, this is the bit that will be different. So let's just run create map, but we will actually run this slightly differently. So there are a few things that we actually have to change. So this set style, let's see what set tile actually does first. It's editor tile. Oh, this is interesting because this sends an integer based on that. So let's put int correction block. So what the correction block will do is it will, for each tile, it will set the type. Terrain type is equal to grass. So rather than having this, it's going to be equal to that. And I believe I'll have to encapsulate this like this, and I'll have to do terrain type. No? Wait, how can I assign this to an integer? Oh, I haven't done this in a while. I think I've done it somewhere, no? Wait, let's check. Let's check the documentation. Oh yeah, I used the dirty method at the bottom of doing it, but I'm pretty sure there is a way to. I mean, I know there is a way. I'm sure I've done it before with an inventory system before. Yeah, so well, can I not do type of terrain? Can I not just cast this? Wait, I actually remember it was a weird. Oh, is this it? I think so. Let's give this a try. So correction. Now we're gonna get some errors, of course, because now we will be passing through a number that will be passed in here. So int and no. So what's actually gonna? So I'll do is I'll create an int additive, and I'm gonna set it to 0, like so, and then I'll have two different set tiles. So I'll pass here a boolean is generated. So we'll pass in this. Where are we? Is empty. So boolean. Where are we? Empty. Right. So we'll pass an empty here, and we'll pass an empty here. So what will happen is, if, which one are we looking at? T is equal to true, then we'll just pass a 0 through, like nothing has ever happened. However, if it's false, the tile that we'll set will be actually based on the additive block, and additive will be added every single time we make a full loop, like so, in the code. But let's only add it here. There's no need to add it outside of this. So, and what this will do is it will actually put, we'll actually get the, where are we? We'll actually get through, where are we? Game editor? Yeah, like so. And what we'll actually get is a list, the list, and it's going to be, what's the list called? A block ID. And for the block ID, we will just put in our additive, like so. It's because that will be either a 0, 1, or 2. Okay, let's test if it works. I hope it does. Because then it will look like the last 10 minutes that I did were just for home. So level 1, okay, like so, it's fine because, is it fine? Let's see what our level currently has. Level 1 is got nothing. Okay, so let's just change some values around, just some random ones, and press play. And let's generate our level. Okay, so we actually do change properly from the additive. Now let's change to a second level and now generate a level. Now it's still generated level 1, so this doesn't work, which is a shame. But I can just manually change that real quick. So because we know that it's always loading a 0 currently. Yeah, so it does actually work properly. We just need, so now all we have to really fix is the selector, and then we have everything. Oh, we will also have to add the last section of the level builder, which is the selector. I mean the path builder. But yeah, that's great. Which means we are getting very close to completing the editor. So let's make some place. So it generates the map. This no longer generates the map. This checks how the map will be generated. And okay. And proceeds to generate your map. Okay. So we have the preset. Actually, let's try to make a map with a different sizing first, and create a remove map button. So this will be a remove button. Do we have a remove button? Probably not. We'll just use the enemy red button for now. So what this button will do is it will just wipe out our entire level. So if you go into the editor where we have save level, we'll also have public void remove level, and we'll just do resets the level to empty. So what this will essentially do is it will get the currently selected level, and it will just change the height to 10, because 10 is going to be our default number. We'll set the width to 10, and the block IDs will be nullified. Like so, and we'll just copy this line across from here. Now, that we have this, we need to fix the setting of the level. So debug.log, and this happened, just to double check that we're running this proportion of the code. Did we actually assign? Okay, so I know why this doesn't work. It doesn't work because we didn't actually assign a functionality to it. So actually what I'll do is I'll create a second function which will dock the level in. So if we go into the game editor and we'll have set level here, can I just move it up? Is it possible to change the hierarchy? Okay, if it's not possible, then I'll just do it like this. So the game editor will set the level, and then once it's set, it will additionally generate it. It's just going to do both. I could have actually done the same with the width and the height. Actually, can I? Because I think that will make even more sense than what we're doing currently. No, not the way it's done. There we go. Generate map, like so. So now we have an error. There you go. Error fixed. So now it should work. So we know that first level. Okay, because so it says. Oh yeah, so it says the level at the start. Yeah. Okay, we have an empty level. We clicked on this, and now we have the first level. Great. So with this, we have a fully working level building system. Now let's just, of course, we didn't save anything yet. Now let's see if we can delete. So this deletes it. So this deletes the actual level via the what's it called, the scriptable, but it doesn't actually delete the level visible on the screen. So we'll actually add that as well to everything. So I'll do is, do we have a reference to the map? I think there should be an instance of this class. Yeah. So here we just need something to delete the map, which we do have, but is it public or not? So we'll just make this public, and what we actually have to do is, so when the map gets deleted, there we go. Where are we? Yeah. So it's generated as false, and yeah, better. So the reason why I moved it is because we actually need to set that to false if we want to select a new level. And that has to be called always after the deletion anyway, but we also call deletion from the game editor as well as here. So that's makes it two birds with one stone. So what I'll do now is I'll do map editor generator dot instance dot delete map, like so. And with this, we have a fully working delete system, save system, and we can hide this in and out. What we'll actually do is change the position of the camera to the height and the width for the reset to the middle point. So we're just going to do 10 divided by half. Okay, let's add this button component here, because the map is actually starting to get on my nerves. And just a little bit. Map editor. And we're looking at remove level. There we go, like so. Now, if we go into the main camera, so what we'll do is on start, we'll do camera.main.transform.position is equal to new vector 3, and we'll keep the y. So this is what it's currently at, well, with this being 10. So we'll keep this as what it currently is, but we'll change the but we'll change the Z and the X to something else. Actually, let's just put this as private. No need. So if you go into map editor now, they're actually already available. So perfect. So what I'll do here is I'll do map dot instance dot, and it's gonna be, well, with height. Yeah, let's just do height divided by 2. Well, width divided by 2, and we're gonna do the exact same thing here. We're just gonna change that to a height divided by 2, and we're missing the bracket. And we'll do the same for the reset. So the reset will always match these. But I'll actually just do a little false proofing. Actually, no. It's good enough. This should work now. It should be less annoying. There we go. So by default, when we generate our first level, it sets it to that, which is more or less in the middle. Whoa. Did I? What have I done? The editor tile has been... Okay, I don't know how that occurred. Let's try to replicate this bug. Okay. Okay, so when we try to generate the level twice is when the error occurs. Let's remove this for now. Is it because this by default doesn't have anything? This might actually just fix it here, like so. Okay. Let's go to debugging. So what is happening? We start the level. Actually, let's see what this level currently contains. So we have a level which is currently empty. We generate the level. Now, I don't see that. Actually, let's make the booleans visible so we can see what's happening on the inside. Okay, there we go. And here if I could move on to the next part. What do you mean the reference missing? Where's the reference missing? Now I'm a bit worried. Hello? Okay, so this generates a map, which is empty, and that's correct. Now, if we look at the editor, what do we have? So is empty is equal to true, and is generated is equal to true. So we've generated it, and it's empty. So if we press that again, it will delete the map, submit the current size, and set it with is empty. Okay, so this problem is with the submitting of the size submission. Where, yeah. Well, now that we know it's here, if we go into... Okay, so the formatting is wrong. That's probably because there's nothing there, I presume. Let's have a look at it. Info field, the text is nothing. That's why the problem is there. The text should always have something in it. So I'm just going to do it manually so I don't have to bother. But every time. There you go. Yeah. That's fine then. Now let's try creating a map with different size. And see. Did it create it sideways? Interesting. So first we'll print the X, the height, the width, and then the height. And I actually want to see these numbers in the inspector as well. Okay. It's turned into a debugging session. Okay. Go ahead. Where are we? 5 and 1. No. Wait. That's actually strange. It kind of should never happen. The numbers are okay. So is it because we are not clearing out? We are clearing it out. We are not clearing it out properly, are we? Who are you? Who are you, Leo Block? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You tried to go again. Why would you try to go again? Nine. It works fine. That's interesting. It's the looping. It's how it loops. If the Is it because I should have done it the wrong other way around? Would that actually fix it? Let's try. Go ahead. It says clear and build. Oh, clear. That's why it wasn't disappearing. What if I do it like this? Nope, we're right. Okay. So yeah, oh, that's right. Okay. So with this, we have our the map builder done. The very okay. Now we need to do the paths. So actually, Was I not checking if the levels changed? Oh, it did work. Anyway, so let's create some levels. So this is going to be our... let's make this the first level and save it. Then we're going to make the second level slightly different. Yeah, let's make it like this. And let's just do like this and save it. And then let's make a third level another 10 by 10. Oh, we're actually... Let's try loading level 3 again. Okay, so that's fine. Oh, is it not setting the correct sizing from the start? It's not. So, but that's fine for now. That's something I can look into later. It's fine. That's fine. And let's do one more level. Let's do the fourth level. Okay, so for this level, we will do something like this. Okay, so that's going to be our next level. And with this, we should have 4 levels. And the first one didn't save. Okay. Yeah, let's do the first one then again. And for the first one, I'm going to make it much simpler. I just want to see if it's going to work, to be honest. We can then later modify the levels. Yeah, save now. There we go. Yeah, all the levels are saved. So now what we need to do is, now that we have the levels, we can... we will need to add a way to add paths inside. Now, for that, we will need to be able to click. I guess we'll have our fourth clicking button right here. So that's going to be here, and that's going to be path image path create, I guess. And this will be a red flag. So let's go into paint. And we still have, and then we'll... how would you make a path? So I guess it would be like a flag in a sense. So I'm gonna create a little border, maybe a little bit thinner, like so. And I will create a flagpole. I guess let's make it slightly different color. Center it. Want it exactly straight, and then create a wavy, I guess a triangle. You can color it inside. And that's going to be our flag icon. So I'll just save it as flag icon. Just remove that. Go into our images, drag in our flag. With this done, we now have a flag icon for our fourth block. So what will happen if we select this? Well, everything else does the game editor.set block. But this one's going to be, I guess, editor.set block. What does... where is editor.set block? Set block, set block. Select block? Select block, yeah. So what we'll do is we'll change this to a big number like 100, and so we'll do if is not 100, So we're just going to run the code as normal. However, if it is, then we will have the currently selected back to default, which is our little default number here. And what I'll do now is currently selected text will be set to the default, which is none, like so. And now, well, what we can do is we can make our raycasting function. So if we go into the update, so if it's not, and then we'll do, actually, since we already have 99, we can just set it to 999, to be honest. As our we can just set it as the default value, because we're not going to have any more features, I think, placed in, at least for now. So if the block is not 999, do this, and if it is, we'll just select it to none, which saves all of our problem here. And here we'll do, this is where we can start painting on the max. So we'll still do this, but we will not do set block, we'll just paint the path. So firstly, what we need is a list of blocks with IDs, or actually the list position of that block. So what we're going to do, so every single block, if we just run the code, if we fix this real quick and run the code. So once the map is generated, we can only draw the path once the map is generated. And that means that we already have our list. So what we'll have to do is just get the number from the array, and that will be the path. So path will be like the second layer on top of everything, in a sense. So what we'll do is we'll have a list of our paths. Where do we store our list of mega? Here. So what I'll essentially do is I'll just make a, where are we? Yeah, private list edit. So I'm actually just going to make a list of these map blocks, because that's in the exact same way they will be actually added. Map blocks list is equal to new list, like so. And what we'll do is every time we create a map, so we'll go map blocks list is equal to clear. Now, since we have this, we no longer have to, we can change some code in the other section to how we assign the list from the other one to this one. So we'll clear this list every time, and every time we spawn a block, we just add it to the list. So no. So editor tile is equal to, and then we'll just do tile, and then map. Okay. So this will give us the number of our tile. Now I feel like I have two lists for no reason. Whatever. We're just gonna go with it for now. Now that we have this, we can simply grab the number of the currently selected block. So I'll just get a get, and what we'll do is we'll compare it. So we'll loop through every single one of them. The instance.map What's Mapbox 1? Oh. So, and then what we'll do is if any of these is going to be equal to or hit the transform, then we know that that's the eye we want to place it on. So if is equal to hit the transform, then okay, so this is where we know that this is the one. So debug.log, this is the one. Yeah, there we go. So we clicked on it and eventually looped and only found one example because that's the one we've clicked and we know it's this one in the map in this specific position. So what we have to do with that is then check if this block. So if dot, and then we have to get editor tile. So we have to make sure it's a path. So we'll do if type of terrain is equal to path, because only if it's a path we can double quotes. Only if it's a path, only then we can proceed to place our path point on top of it. I actually need to go to the toilet real quick. I'll be right back. Moving on. So what I kind of want to do is have something appear above the block right now. If we go into the prefabs and then editor, and we have our tile block right here. Now, what we want to add here is we're going to add a 3D text, which will be pointed directly above us. So it's going to have a like this, and it will have a number written on it. Let's center the position. It's not exactly how I wanted it. There we go, like so. It's probably not the best way to do it, but it'll be good enough for what we're trying to do. And let's make it maybe darker, bold. Nah, white was better, more visible. Okay, like so. So so this is going to be the path number. Now, inside of the editor block, we kind of just want to set it to false. That's the very first thing that will happen. So when we first generate them, we just kind of want to disable it. Or do we? Where do we run it? Where do we run it? Either way, let's get a reference first. So private, and we'll just grab the actual component of that, which is a text mesh, and then we will have the path number. This is what it's going to be called. It's going to be set to null. And now in here, we can add the path number. We save and remove it from here. So if we press play now, we'll just have a bunch of these come up when we generate the block. Yep, it's actually not as good as I wanted it to be. But now that we see it, we can, I guess, judge better. Is there something? Okay. Where are we? Prefab, editor. Come back here. What's the tab size? I mean, no, no, not what I wanted at all. I can actually anchor it. Let's see how it's going to work with anchoring, and then change it to 8. I never used 3D text. I kind of don't understand why. Oh, why? That's why. Because it's so offset of the object, so it should be more. Just slightly poking out. Yeah, let's try it like this. Should look better. It's turned into a moving 3D text around. Yeah, it's better now. Okay, so perfect. Now that we have this, so in map editor, so when we create a new one, we'll automatically disable it. So what do? We do this set tile. Where are we? Set tile, set tile. So set tile will just disable the path. This. So do path number. Okay, no. So if no, the game object set false. We just straight away disable them once we do this. The only thing that we'll do is if it's empty, we'll remove it. However, we will then later add the numbers on top of everything else if it's true once this is true. So what we'll do is at the end, if empty is equal to, don't know. We'll have to think about that in a little bit. Okay. Okay, so we have the tile, we have the numbers, and what's going to happen is, where are we? Tile editor needs to go away for now. Actually, come back. compact tile editor. I need to have an access to this path number, and I'll actually need to change it. So we need it like this. Go to camera controller. Do we have a list in here? No, we don't. So we need to create a list of integers. So we'll do private int private, or do we create? Okay, we'll create it as we go along. I'm getting confused with what I want to do. So let's go back to the logic. So we check if this, and then we check for the path. So if the path is there, we then add that to our current array and set the array number as what we want. So let's create an array here, private list, and that's going to be integer, and it's going to be the number of path. I'm going to move that later because I don't want to hear. And by later, I mean now. There you go. This is an error. Okay. So what's going to happen is number of path will be added, and it will add the number of I. Like so. So now we have a direct reference of the path and the I. And we will have an actual number to iterate from. So before we start the iterate, I'll do int pathnum, and pathnum is going to be, well, we'll I need to have, yeah, private int pathnum, and pathnum is going to be 0 at start, but pathnum will add each time we do this. And what we'll also do is we'll get our hit. Actually, we can save hit into something else, so we'll do hit dot transform dot I'm gonna call it twice. And we'll do dot, and we want to grab our path number dot text, and that's going to be equal to path num. And we also dot to string, like so. And we also want to set this to be enabled. And I'm getting this component way too many times. Am I not? Yes, I am. So we'll change that in a second. Dot game object dot set active true. So with this, the system should work. Let's just tidy this up slightly. So we'll do editor tile selected is equal to hit.transform, like so. And then this will be tile selected. And then everything here will be, so we don't have to grab the component. There we go. Now we're grabbing the component slightly less amount of times. And we have two new. So what this does is it keeps track of the total paths. And what this does is it stores all the IDs of the path. I guess, if you can call that an ID. Well, yeah, I guess we've created an ID system for each path. Or I could actually create an ID path and not have an extra list like this. That could be useful for a future. Okay, so now click here, click here, click here, click here, here. There we go. So of course we can go back, which is not as we would want. But this is going to be a user choice thing rather than our own. So we have that. We just need to have a way to clear the path and save the path now. So of course save will save everything, but we don't have a button to clear. So here, I'm just going to add another button, which will clear this out. Where's this panel? Panel. Yeah, there you go. And we're going to call this, what's this going to be called? This is going to be called reset path. So reset path, and this was size. Okay, let's just forget about these text components. So what reset path will do is it will clear out every single one of these guys. So we'll just create a. Wait, is this? Okay, so I'll do public void reset path. So what reset path will do is it will set the path number to 0. It will set the number of paths. It will just clear it, and it will additionally just reset all of these guys. Reset all of these visible path numbers. So I'll just do this. And we will do where are we? Where's it called? Path number.gameObject default. So this will just remove them all from existence. So this resets the path, and I'm just going to keep it all here. And now let's just connect it to the reset path, which is here, and let's see if it's going to work. Of course, we still have to save the path, so it's something that hasn't been added into the game yet. Well, that's fine. So let's go. Yeah, so it just reset it completely. Okay, so let's add saving now. So to add saving, we need our base class, which is the level, and then here we'll add another set of ints, but this is going to be the path the path. We can just call it a path. Of course, we will add it to our reset as well. So we will clear the path if we reset the level, and to the save, we will be saving the path. So if you go to path editor, and where do we have save? Save level. There we go. So we'll do levels, currently selected level, dot path is equal to path. Do I have to loop it? I guess I do. No, I don't have to loop it. There's no way. I can just make one list equal to one of path. Right? Yeah. Okay, so now we have the list equal to that list for this specific level. That means we can set up levels. In the map generator, it will not generate the level on the path. Oh, so that's another thing that we have to do now. We basically have to reverse engineer what I just did here with that. But I don't feel like doing it just now. Nah, let's do it. What do we have here? So we basically have to add it here. So what's going to happen is we'll grab a reference to this. And this will have to have a reference as well. And what's going to happen is we'll do so this is what's going to happen like this. So I'll do a for loop. First I'll do a for loop and I'll do this dot path dot count. And what that will do is it'll do we have a reference to the game editor? There should be a reference. Yeah, game editor dot and path number plus plus. So this will set our path numbers and it will keep adding. And then I'll do game editor dot number of paths is equal to that. There you go. So this just reverses what we did in the other one. Now this creates a map that is empty. But what we also want to do is we want to add one more thing, and that's going to be set numbers for the path. So if we'll just do, we will not run it all the time. So if our numbers of path is higher than 0, so we only do this, we will set the number paths, because otherwise we can completely ignore it. And what's going to happen here is so shows all the numbers for the paths. And what's going to happen here is, so what you'll do, that's right. Actually, when I need to also run through all the blocks and add them to the map block list. That's actually very important. So wait, we create the map. Oh, map creation does that, which means we can run this after we've already set up that array, because then all we have to do here is just loop through our entire list of map block lists, and then and so basically if the ID of any of these is going to be equal to the ID of that, then that means it's good. So that means we have to do a double for loop. So if, let's just change that to a T. Wait, because I need the value. No, there we go, like so. So if our I, which is going to be the loop number for the number of the boxes, will be the same as the T, but the number in the T, not the T itself. Then what we want to do is we want to do map blocks list of, and it's going to be, what was it called? Oh, what was it? At position I dot path number dot game object dot set have this true. I have to do it the other way around, don't I? Yeah, I have to loop from this to that to get the correct order. So let's remove this. What the hell? Okay, so one set of brackets done. And now second set of brackets done. And the second set of brackets goes in here. Yeah, because that's the only way to fix them order. So we go through our 0t, we look for every single block, we find the one we want, we set it to true, and we set its number to, so we need to have int temp id, and then temp id plus plus, and then path number. How do we set the numbers in here? There we go, like so. Dot text is equal to temp id dot string, like so. And now we should have, well, the reverse of setting the map, and everything should save. So let's do a proper level. So we generate our level 1, we select the path, guess between our points, and we save it. Now, let's just say we came at some other point, we try to generate a level 1, and it generates the path correctly. Perfect. So now that we have this, let's generate every single level, and we can then move on to the next part. But before that, I'll need to take a break. So for this level, we just gonna do start, next point, next point. I'll do it by corners, like so. And let's save it. Try level 3. Generate this level. So that's gonna go like this, like this. I hope I don't have to do it block by block, but we'll figure this out when we get to the level editor. Let's see if everything's saving properly. So we have our paths, 3 elements. We have everything here. We have everything here. Yep, sounds good. Looks good. It's great. For generate, oh, that's gonna be a fun map to play. Like so, and click save, and that's done. Do we have an icon I can just give this? Yeah, sure. Oh, actually, let's use that. What does the blocking bottom have? It's just a button. And I guess I'll just call it expand. Yeah. Okay, well, perfect. I'm happy with how this works. Now, let's just go to the main menu. And here we will add our levels. I kind of want to add a text component. Do we have something that we can... Yeah, let's use our nice button icons for each of our levels and add a text inside. So I'll add a text inside of it's going to fit inside, center it and make it bigger, and it's going to put a number. So that's going to be 2, 3, 4, like so. How do they move the... Oh, easy. I'm actually going to create a second panel like this in the exact same spot. That's going to be, I guess, like a holder. And move this inside. I'm pretty sure there was a reference to this somewhere. So it opens up this specific panel, no? Okay. And whoa, whoa, whoa. map selection holder. Let's remove the grid layer from this. Slap this in here. This will be maxed on this. This already is nicely set. But what I kind of want to do is make this slightly smaller. Make this maybe a little bit bigger actually. Yeah. Move everything to a lower center. Like so. And I just want to add the text component here at the top. And that's just going to say select level, like so. And what each of these levels will have a button, so they can actually, so it selects the level. And now let's expand our main menu script a little bit. Also change from Polish to English United Kingdom while I'm at it. So buttons panel is the panel. Yeah. No. What happens when you press start game? Oh, it doesn't do what we want it to do. So we need another one, which is going to be the level selection. Just going to nullify it straight away so you don't get the error. And what's going to happen here is we're going to set level select dot game object dot set active true. I'm going to add it to our reset in here. False in case we click that button, although it should never happen. That's fine. Like this, I'm not gonna give an option to go back once you want to say you want to play. That's too tough for you. And what we'll have here is we will have I guess we just click on a level to load with the ID of the level. So we can just, to make it easier, I'll just do public void set level int level ID, like so, and then we'll just do one. But before that, we'll do player prefs. Is it set int level ID? Basically, it's key and a value. So level ID. Let's call it ID level. Let's just call it level. It's gonna be so much easier to remember. Okay, like so. Actually, I'm just gonna copy this line for just to make sure. This turned out to be quite a long episode. Didn't really plan for it to be this long. Main menu, set level. So we have level 1, 2, and level 3. And there'll be literally the IDs in which they will appear in the list. So this sets it, this loads it. That will work fine, and that will load us to our sample scene, but we don't want our sample scene actually anymore. So in the build and run settings, I actually want to make a copy of the scene. So I'll just go Control D. Oh no, it's not gonna let me. Okay. So I'm gonna open the scenes folder. I'll just do copy and paste like so. And now we have a second sample scene. So this is gonna be changed to a game scene. Reload. Oh good. Now there you go. I'm still gonna add sample scene because it's gonna be our testing scene for a ready-made level. So our game scene is gonna be slightly different now that we are preloading a level in. So what we have to add is a way to preload our level in, because the map, all of that is going to be gone. And I'm not going to do this today because this will take ages to add. But I still have some time, so I'll slightly get on with it, I guess. What do we have here? Or do I take a break, cook, and come back? It's a tough one. That's a tough one. Okay, let's just do as much as we can in the next 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'm going to make some food. Okay, so first thing that I need here is a new script. And that's going to be called... Wait, what's the other map? The generator called? Where's the editor scripts? Map editor. Okay, so I'm just going to call it a map generator. Map generator. Now, our map generator is going to be very simple to the map editor generator. You can literally copy and paste a lot of the code from here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this and we'll get a reference to all of our levels. Like so. Now, of course, then we need our tile. So we'll have private game object tile. No. It's spawn object tile. Like so, the object that spawns like so. And in start, we had a little, no? Where was it? There was this little piece of code that I really needed from main menu. Where do we go? There we go. So we'll just get our. So what we'll set the level that we're gonna load. So we'll have private int level ID, and level ID is going to be equal to get in, like so, and it's level. So now we've set up the level, we can freely generate based off of that level. What else do we want to do? We want to remove everything from here. We don't need any of these tiles. And map will have map generator. And we'll put every level inside. Now we'll have a private void in generate level. So this will allow us to generate our level, and it's going to be the first thing that will be called in this class to make the level appear. Now let's have a look. So what we essentially want to do is we want to basically grab our, where are we? This set of code. That's all we need to do is just slap a level based on our values. So we'll again have private int height, private int width, and what we'll do is, I guess we can do, so we'll just do, where are we? Width is equal to levels, level ID, and then width. We'll do the exact same for the height. Like so. Now we'll create an array. Like so. We can essentially copy a lot of that code over. Where is it? Like so. And we're gonna, of course, we don't need this. This doesn't have to exist. The parent we should set. It's not gonna be. It's gonna be a. Where are we? So for the prefabs, tile actually uses tile. So this will be just a tile. So we need to do some changes. Those don't actually have to be here, and they can be declared inside of our. The same with our map blocks. This can be declared in here as well. So just do, because we will not actually have to access any other point. Like so. Wait, what do you mean? Oh, that's right. Pop. There we go, like so. What we do need is the we do need the parent. The parent is of course going to be parent as if this dot game object. Like so. What do we have? Of course, this will be an error because we are doing tiles now. So we're just going to change that around. Map blocks is unnecessary, and this will recreate our blocks, but that will just spawn them not how we want them to be spawned. We want them to, of course, be spawned using the values, their block using their block IDs. So what we'll do here is we'll do set tile, but well, does it even have a set tile? Let's open tile. No, it doesn't. So we'll do public void set tile. And we'll essentially just have to copy this slightly. Whatever. But rather than this, we'll just do level ID. And the reason why this is additive is because we need the counter. Do we? What actually? What does this do? Additive. Oh, there you go. So, and then and additive will add at the end of every time. Do we not have tile? Set tile. We do have set tile. Oh, that's right. Set tile doesn't need the X and Y. What it does is need the level ID. So we'll just take in the type ID. Like so. We'll actually want to do some moving of the code. Reset blocks. And we'll move all of this from here into here. Now, this we no longer actually need. So let's just comment it out for now. So we disable all the blocks, and what we will do is we will enable the one based on the block type. What did we use the path type for? I don't remember anywhere. What's oh, no, I think we can just do that. Why can we just do that? Because this will either say 0, 1, or 2. We probably don't need this anymore, if I'm correct. So the types of IDs are going to be 0, 1, and 2, because that's what all of the blocks were assigned when they were saved. So that means that start can just go away, and these guys can go away as well. Perfect. So because the map editor was the one that was responsible for that, but this will of course create a lot of errors in the other scene, which is fine. We're not going to use the other scene anymore. Let's just clear out these guys a little bit. Okay, since this was a temporary variable, thank God I make comments. Yeah, so we reset the blocks, we set the one based on the ID. So with this, everything should work besides the map pathing, which may or may not give us an error from the start. No, of course, an error. We didn't even attach the tile. Quick, I want to go do other stuff. But I want to do this as well. Oh, the problems. There you go. Come on. Yeah, that's actually level 1 right here, which means it works. And now let's just quickly do level ID is equal to 2. So that's going to be the third map. And it works. Perfect. So we actually have a fully working level placer based on the levels that we've created. It will automatically generate when we start a new game. And all that's left to add is the path, which, how was the path done? I just did it a second ago, but I don't remember already. Which is basically what we did with the reverse function in here. So, but we don't need the numbers. We just need to. So how do we read the path? Where's the path? Path tiles. Ah. So this is where it gets fun. So what we essentially do is add the tiles from the path number into this. So close this. So what was get path? Get path is equal to So we don't actually need this anymore. But where is the reference to the? Oh no, the enemy movement grabs the path from the manager. That's fine. So what will have to happen is so when the map has finished generating, all we have to do is do path. No, no. We actually just want to set. We might need both. So we'll do path tiles is equal to new tile, and then the size of that is gonna be level level ID dot int path tiles amount is equal to level ID dot path dot count. Does it have to be count -1? I don't know. We'll figure this out later when we get an error. There we go. Like so. And then we'll do for So we have this, and now we have to do the reversal that we did here. So for the number of paths, we basically have to copy this over. Where are we? And let's just change it to Z. Where are we? Nah. Okay. We actually don't need this anymore. This is unnecessary. So actually, has to change here is that what we do is path tiles. No, where is it? Path tiles z is equal to all spawned tiles, which is an I. That's probably a dirty way to do it. But it will work, I think at least. But we'll see if it works in the next part. If I have to go. Yeah. It was actually very enjoyable. Generates the level based on save data in the scriptable level object from the editor. Yeah, that's it. I'll try to finish this entire thing sometime next week. But yeah, this is it for now. I'm glad we finally finished the editor. Next, we'll work on the actual game and adding new towers, fixing some bugs from the previous parts. Yeah, thanks for watching.